1 in 5 people stop breathing 10 to 30 seconds at a time while sleeping. These short stops in breathing can happen up to 400 times. Worldwide sleep apnea affects almost 1 billion people. According to sleepeducation.org, 23.5 million people suffer from sleep apnea and remain undiagnosed. In today's show, we will be exploring all things sleep apnea, and my lovely co host, Khalilah, will be sharing her personal experience with it as well. Are you ready for another chronic pain conversation? Let's go. Hello and welcome to Chronic Pain Conversations. My name is Sharifa McLaren Thomas, and this is my lovely co-host, Khalilah Bouzoual. This is a show where we have open and honest dialogue about chronic pain. We share on our experiences, acknowledging the wide variety of chronic pain diagnosis, and look at ways to manage chronic pain. So we're going to jump right into pain or pleasure to get a status up on where both our bodies are at for today's show. Khalilah, pain or pleasure?
Well, today I am more so pain. People don't know this, but I'm actually doing it from my bed today. So things are a little bit rough for me, but I'm always pleasure when it comes to the show, so I'm happy. What about you, Sharifa? How about you?
I'm with you. I'm pain today. I feel a little bit under the weather, but we have a really good show today. So I'm always excited when it comes to our show.
Okay. So, Sharifa.
Yeah.
Sleep apnea is a potentially serious sleep disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts, right? If you're snoring out loud, if you feel tired after a long day's sleep, if you're waking up feeling like your breath has been stopped, like you've just stopped breathing, it's technically that's what it is. It can cause you to stop breathing. What are your thoughts about when you heard this, when you were researching this? What were your thoughts?
To be honest with you, Khalilah, it's pretty scary to I don't know, to imagine you stop breathing for however long. What if you don't start breathing again? I think of when I hear people pass away in their sleep, that's what I think about. Could it have been that? Could it have been prevented? All that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That is exactly why I had to go and get it checked out. But we're going to get a little bit into that down the road. But tell me, what were you thinking about with all this?
I was more thinking when I hear about sleep apnea, I think the big old machine on people's faces and stuff like that. But I know a couple of people who snore really bad. And I'm going to throw him under the bus. My husband, doing this research, I'm thinking, do I need to nudge him and say, hey, babe, let's go get that checked or something? I'm usually awake and I watch him sleep. Sometimes he's never stopped breathing, but I definitely have heard him really bad snoring along with my father. So it makes me want to take some things into consideration.
That's not okay. That's not okay.
No.
Okay. So let's talk about different types. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So there is the obstructive sleep apnea. And the more common form is that when it occurs when your throat muscles relax.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens, you do not get enough air, which then causes there to be low oxygen in your blood levels. So we're talking literally breath of life, right? It's not getting through your blood vessels.
Mm-hmm.
With that, your brain sends signals as which will cause you to snort, cough, or gasp, because it's like, get your air,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Central sleep apnea, which is what I had, which occurs when your brain doesn't send proper signals to the muscles. So first we're talking about air, now we're talking about muscles that
Mhm.
control your breathing.
Right.
With this, you make no effort to breathe for a short period of time. Like you just stop. You might awaken with shortness of breath or have a difficulty time trying to sleep or stay asleep. So it's kind of like because you're not, it's because you're not getting the sleep, you're waking up. You're feeling like you have no breath.
Right.
The third one is complex sleep apnea syndrome, also known as treated emergent central sleep apnea. I don't know why they call it that, but this occurs when both the obstructive sleep apnea, so it's happening when both there's low oxygen, you're not getting enough air in your system, and the muscles in your bodies are relaxing. So not only are you dealing with one or one, but one and one equals two, and it becomes really difficult. And it can be a very serious thing because lack of sleep affects your body.
That's true. It's
Yeah.
very true. So there are the different types, but now we should get into what maybe causes those things to happen. So
Mhm.
obstructive sleep apnea in adults are caused more along when they are overweight or struggling with obesity. And then children, it's caused in children due to maybe enlarged tonsils, or they
Mhm.
maybe even have dental conditions like a large overbite. We all hear people say, "Oh, I have a large overbite," whatever the case is. That can be one of the causes in children. Um,
Mhm.
if a child is also born with a birth defect like Down syndrome, sleep apnea can later develop in their life as well. But um,
That's
only a child is
interesting.
also born with a birth.
Wow. Okay, so do we know it's a very interesting thing. It is a very interesting thing in terms of, you know, sometimes we don't recognize how much sleep affects affects us, how much we need it,
Yeah.
how many people when they go without it, um, just not even like when we talk about our lupus or we talk about our fibro and our chronic pain, when we don't get enough sleep, that is a tumbling, like that's just this tumbling
Yeah.
ball that gets a bigger snowball because of what's happening.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure. I'm out here and I'm like trying to figure out if um my Wi-Fi is working properly. It keeps coming out for me. Sorry, you guys, for the technical difficulties. So you want to hear my story, I guess.
Yeah. So I know you had an experience with sleep apnea. So I personally don't know the story, and I know a lot of things about you. So I'm excited to hear you share with us what it was, what's going on.
Okay, so here's the deal. Let's start off with the truth. So the first thing that you brought up was that sleep apnea is affected with people that are obese. So let me share a little something with you. Yeah. So
Okay. Can I say something? I I don't I remember you on the right. Not
okay.
even that much, but more closer to that on the right. The one on the left, I don't know who the heck that is.
So, this was back in 2016 when I had gotten the heaviest in my life. I was actually over 300 pounds. And because of that, I was like, nah, nah, star. Um, but I was noticing there was a place where my body was, I would be sleeping at night and I would literally just feel like I wasn't breathing. And I'd be like I literally wake myself up. It was like my brain's like, you're not breathing. And I would like wake up. And it would just feel like I had stopped breathing. And it was just really, really difficult. And so when we're talking about that weight, what being obese looks like, it's not a word that I've used with myself very often, but when there's the obesity, when you've putting extra weight on, it makes it difficult for other parts of your body to function. It puts other weight on areas that once you put additional weight on, you know that it can hurt you. So like think of somebody choking you. What you know when they stop, they put pressure on your neck. You're having a hard time breathing. When you put additional fat, additional on your body in areas where your lungs are supposed to be or different things like that, it definitely affects you. So back in 2016, I got to a place where was all about getting my figuring out what was going on, because it became really weary. Somebody in my life at that time, they were also telling me things like, you're waking up in the middle of your sleep. So again, you mentioning, if someone is concerned about it, you should be concerned about it as well. And so I've actually had to get a test done twice. So I got so basically what happens is you go into, when you're getting your test, you go in and it's an all night test, right? And so what happens is they hook you up. They hook up leads to your head, they hook up to your nostrils, they hook it up to your body, they hook it up into different places. So this is a machine that they have carry on you. And basically what it is the combination of the ability to read your brain waves, the ability to detect when you're moving, the ability to detect while you're breathing and you're sleeping. So that way, when you go into these sleep clinics, as you're trying to fall asleep, it's reading what's happening. If I'm snoring or not breathing properly, is it coming from my brainwave? Is it coming from my body? Am I kicking a certain way? So it looks like a lot, but it's really invasive. The only thing I've never enjoyed about this is that they put this gel on, because when they go into your scalp, they'll like kind of like cleanse it, and they'll put a little scraper just and a little gel, and then they just spit the leaf on it, so it doesn't hurt at all. But it was a really interesting experience. What was really funny was, not with regards to my sleep apnea, but still, when I had my first accident in 2017, back in 2019, they sent me for another sleep study test, because they were trying to figure out how much sleep I was getting. Was it restful enough? They were also trying to figure out if I had PNES. This is how I got the diagnosis of psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, because they were checking to see if my brainwave was sending different things out, and this was the last resort. So this type of test can actually be used in more than one way, and it really did help me. Now, what I know, some people that also had to use a CPAP machine. I was never fond of it. I had two options. I had to either take a CPAP machine, or I had to actually lose weight. When you lose weight, the weight comes off your muscles, the weight comes off those throats, those breathing areas, and it gets your body back to a place where it can function the way that it has to function on its own, without it being stressed out in its functioning. So when you sleep, your throat, your lungs, they function a different way in that relaxed state. And if extra pressure's on it, you can't really breathe. So as you can see, I'll show you one more time. I can't believe I'm showing you this, but I'm proud of myself for it.
And I'm proud of you. I am so proud of you, because to be honest, like I said, I didn't know that side of things. I more knew you on the right side, but not even that much. And now look at you now. And the fact that you chose to say, I'm not going to take the easy way out and just get a machine that'll help me. I'm going to help myself and do the hard work. I'm so proud of you for that.
I am at least, from the picture on the left, I'm at least 60 pounds lighter from that.
That's amazing. That
But the
is so
funny
amazing.
Now, you want to hear what's really funny though?
Yeah.
In that picture on the left, so many people said to me, "You should be a model. You look so good. We love your curves." And I was in a battle because I was like, I am not healthy. Why is everybody going, "You look so good"?
Because
Right?
nobody knows.
Because nobody knows. And then the picture on the right was exactly 1 year later. That's how much weight I had lost. And then there's me now.
Wow. That's a
Chronic
big
pain.
encouragement. That is a huge encouragement.
Oh, thank you, Mama.
So I want to go through some symptoms.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I want you to tell me, out of the symptoms that I had, that I say, which ones did you know that you had? Okay.
Okay.
So there's loud snoring.
I didn't snore often, but I did occasionally. Yeah, that was me grasping for air.
Okay. There's episodes where you stop breathing during your sleep, which another person would probably tell you that that's what happened.
Yeah. But you actually wake yourself up because you've literally, you know that you've stopped sleep, like you're not breathing. And you're like, but yeah, I stopped breathing. I knew it, and the person beside me knew it.
Oh Lord, that's scary. So gasping for air, you said you had that one.
Yeah.
Awakening with a dry mouth. Have you ever had that and was unsure?
The funny thing is I did, and I never associated it with the sleep apnea. So it is actually very interesting for me.
Yep. Morning headache?
Sometimes, but I didn't know if it was associated with that, but it's good to know.
Okay. Insomnia, so difficulty staying asleep.
Listen, I've had more trouble falling asleep now with the more current issues, but there were times where I'd have a problem staying asleep because I would wake up so often.
Okay.
At one point, I think I have the doctor's notes or something, but there was a one point in time where the gentleman, I remember, he's like, in 1 hour, you've probably woken yourself up at least 40 to 50 times. And he was like, that is not good.
Wow.
And it's like you're waking up almost every 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Excessive daytime sleepiness. So people know it as hypersomnia.
Girl, have you met me? I'm up and moving all the time. But I don't remember thinking I had this. But there were times where you just feel tired in the day, but I don't think I associated it with it.
Okay. What about irritability?
You do. People don't realize that a lack of sleep makes you irritable.
Yep.
And it's not just with regards to sleep apnea. It's just people in general. When you're not getting your body rested, when things aren't getting rejuvenated, it only makes sense that you're going to be a lot more irritable. And I'm glad we're talking about these symptoms, because if you're noticing this, have a conversation with your doctor.
Yep. We can't stress it enough.
No.
Conversations with your physician is one of the best routes to take. I have one more. Okay. Difficulty paying attention while you're awake.
How do you expect someone to pay attention when they're tired?
Yeah.
Like, we have to think about that stuff. Like, it's like, I'm tired. My body doesn't function. And yes, it was something. It's really funny because I don't remember ahead of time, but I do remember it more now. But I don't think paying attention, I think that is just something that comes to everybody. So it's a real funny thing. It is a symptom, but I think that it's also something that just makes sense, because sleep is so imperative, right? That's why I know people don't think, but and you don't think about it, that's why they say break fast. Like you break your fast because you've had this time where you're resting and your
Mhm.
body's been fasting and it's been
Yep.
rejuvenating.
Right.
And that's why they're always talking about there's a certain amount of sleep that you're supposed to get as a child, as an adult, and even as an elderly person. It's not the same. All three sleepings are different,
Yep.
but you need that. And even an hour consistently being taken away from you affects your body. So, and it causes you to, have difficulty paying attention.
Yep. 100%. Now,
Mhm.
Khalilah,
Yes.
when is it a good time to see the doctor? When did you say you need to go and consult with a physician?
I got scared. I I can't remember when it started happening, but I remember it started happening more. And I think that started because I was putting more and more weight on.
Mhm.
And it was happening more consecutively. Occasionally it was just once in a while, but it was building up, building up. And I got scared, Sharifa, that I could fall, that I could die in my sleep. And when I found out when they did the sleep study test, they said you actually could. There was a likelihood that you were going to fall, that I could have. And I got to the point where after, the person I was sharing a bed with, the man in my life.
All righty.
Well, listen, like we got to talk about that. You don't know unless there's a piece where I knew, but then there's this confirmation coming from somebody else.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
there's, I'm not going to lie. Somebody was,
Hmm.
snuggling up beside me.
Yep.
So, anyhow, um, once they had a conversation with me, once I started to realize it was happening more frequently,
Hmm.
um, I needed to know what was going on. I needed to know what was going on. And it was really, it was such a simple conversation with my doctor. I booked an appointment and I said, this and this is what's going on. And, he was always talking to me about my weight. And he's definitely said, we need to get you tested. They take it very seriously. I want people to know that it's not flung off like, oh, you're not sleeping. It's, wait, you're not breathing while you're sleeping. No, we need
Hmm.
to get you tested.
Right.
Testing sometimes takes time because they only test at night and they
Okay.
only have a certain amount of beds per night. It's not a test that happens during the day because they try to follow you in your natural sleep pattern,
Right.
right? But they get you in as soon as possible. I will say that. I don't feel like I got frustrated with the process.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that there are different treatments for
Mm-hmm.
sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
So we all hear about the CPAP machine, which
Yeah.
is continuous positive airway pressure.
Right.
So basically, it's a mask with straps, and the straps are very tensified. So they stay and hold to your face so that there's no air escape and you're getting all the oxygen that you need. Some people find it uncomfortable and just give up on the machine, while others just learn to adjust because that's what they need to survive. Um, there are oral devices as well that are much easier to use, but the CPAP machines are more reliable
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they're a bigger help than the oral devices. So the oral devices you would get through dental, and
Yeah.
basically it's a device that it would go in your mouth at night and it would help your throat and your airway stay open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
I,
easier to use, but CPAP is definitely on the better side of help.
what I want people to understand though is like there is now this whole new development of CPAP.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one kind of mask that's out
Yeah.
there. It's
Yeah.
not just it's at the place now where it's it's truly being
Modified.
modified, enlarged. It's being what's another word I would say? Um, the the variants of it, the
Okay.
types that are out there.
Mhm.
They're realizing, the way that they're cleansing it now. Now they're having conversations because, people didn't know how to clean it, and there's options now to get them cleaned so that you're not getting any disinfection from the tube that's in there.
Right.
So people, really take a look at what your options are. There are organizations that purposely work on um, only CPAP machines, developing that breathing. And you can test them out. That's what the great thing is. At least
Mhm.
I know here in Ontario,
Yeah.
they were willing to let me test them out for a little bit and try a few to get used to them.
Nice.
But I'm not going to lie, my pride took over. And, I didn't want to be turning over to kiss somebody. And there's this,
Like,
my name is Khalilah, sounding like Darth Vader. I didn't think it was sexy, but when
that's
I get
too
married,
funny.
it's different.
But then it goes back to having that understanding partner that knows what it is and will ride or die.
I
Ride or
know,
die.
but see, when we've talked about it before,
Yeah.
our pride,
Yep.
how our pride
Yep.
can stop us from getting,
Yep. 100%.
and but I did make the choice where I was like, I don't want to be strapped to a machine. I want to be breathing.
Right.
So do what you need to do.
Yep. 100%.
Mhm.
You talked about the different options that even Canada has. And a lot of people don't know, but CPAP machines, if we're paying out of pocket, it can be a pretty penny. It's like,
It is.
I've
It is.
seen some, and they showed, like Khalilah said, the different ones, and I was looking at those numbers, and I was like, thank the Lord Jesus, I am not looking to get that for myself, and I pray that I won't have to. But nonetheless, people who do need, there are options. I know in Canada, we have OHIP, which is what our healthcare is. Thank God for OHIP. I don't know about you, Khalilah, but not even just for CPAP. In general, thank the Lord for OHIP. OHIP offers help to Canadians where if people who need a machine or even just an oral device, OHIP will help pay for it, where you may not pay anything. You might pay a little bit of money, but sometimes it's covered. You don't pay anything.
It's covered under your benefits too.
Right.
If you work,
it compensates. Yep. So OHIP will cover something, then your benefits will probably take care of the rest, and then you ain't spending nothing.
Yeah.
There's health insurance companies like Medicare or Medicaid, which will pay for CPAP machines. And American Sleep Apnea Association is a company that, if you're in the US, they'll assist with CPAP machines. Not sure in detail how much you would pay, but I guess they do their assessment or whatever, and they do what they need to do to help you. This is also something that I really love to see. Some charities and nonprofits provide free machines for those who don't have access to one and that truly need one, or you just truly can't afford it. They do what they can to help you to get a free machine. I think that's awesome.
But and again, this comes back down to how serious it is.
Yep.
The fact that the world is recognizing that North America is recognizing the need for this, because people need to sleep, and how it affects so many different things. So, if you're having trouble sleeping, go and have a conversation with your physician. Or, I think that in the States, now you can just do your telehealth kind of thing. But either which way, have a conversation and find out, because you losing sleep, you losing energy, you losing the ability to do things in your life, you losing the ability to concentrate, you losing the ability to participate in your family's life, you losing the ability to do the things that you need to do in your work, you're losing. This is what happens when you have a lack of sleep.
Yep.
People don't understand those minutes and those hours taken away from you take more minutes and hours away from you in other aspects of your life.
Yep.
Your sleep is so critical. And you're talking to two people here that don't really that are dealing with like sleep issues. I have to take a sleeping pill to fall asleep some nights because of my chronic illness. I get it. And I'm stressing to you that whether or not, no matter how far along the spectrum you are, whether you just guess that you have a sleeping issue to, you in the place where you're getting it and utilizing it, advocate. We're always about that with chronic pain conversations. Advocate. Ask questions. I don't care if your physician is somebody that you've never liked before. Go somewhere else and get a referral. Or even the CPAP places themselves, they work with certain organizations, they work with certain doctors. You can connect a CPAP association, a company, and they can also direct you to doctors that they feel would work with them or have worked with them or that you can go to. There are resources. Utilize them.
Yeah, you have to do the work yourself. You have to, because like we always say, nobody, absolutely nobody, no matter how much they say they love you, will take care of you except for you.
Tell them.
Yep.
Well done. Yeah. Okay. Can we go into, and this is where people hate it, the coping and the support. I'm going to put this up one more time. I can't believe I'm actually putting this up one more time. I can't believe I'm putting this up one more time.
I love you're being vulnerable, and I am all for it. I love it.
I don't use a CPAP machine because I've lost over 60 pounds, because I want my freedom, because I knew that being healthy is more important for me to have my lifestyle.
Yeah.
The coping and the support is you. Your coping is your health, what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, what's clogging up your arteries, what's putting too much weight onto your lungs, what's putting too much weight onto your throat, what's putting too much weight on your ability that your breathing mechanism system that was created within you is not working naturally. The truth of the matter is the one thing that everybody will tell you is you have to lose weight. And so this is where, well, how do you lose it? Or, that picture was taken in 2016. We're now in 2021, right? There's only like a 60, 65 pound difference. But every year there's a certain amount of weight I lose. Even if I lose 1 pound per month, 1 pound per week, it varies depending on my mindset. But I have to tell you guys, I'm living proof that, and it didn't take this whole much of weight. Like, even when 20 pounds came off, I realized I was sleeping different. I was getting my sleep. The things that were causing me to wake up were dissipating on its own. And so I really want to stress to people, we're talking about your health. And if you're on a CPAP or you need a CPAP and you want to get off of it, you have to change what you're putting into your body. And I don't know what that is. That's a whole other conversation, which we're having the nutritionist on next week and the healthcare. Yay! Make sure you're tuned in next week, guys. Make sure you're tuned in next week. But that's what I kind of got to say. Okay, I'm removing that.
I absolutely like that. That was, I think today's show was very essential when it came to you being your support, you being your motivation. It's hard work. We're not saying it's not hard work.
We're not.
But in the long run, look at Khalilah. In the long run, there is no CPAP.
I'm not finished. I still have a goal of
she's not finished, but I mean, she's not with that machine at night.
No.
So in the long run, like she said, it could be 1-2 pounds a month. It will still pay off.
It will still pay off. And, it just even when you're like, oh, it hurts to move or it hurts to there was a place where I had to be like, it hurts to move right now, especially with the personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to the gym, but then I had to think about, yeah, but a pound off today means me moving differently next year.
Right. Right.
A pound off today means that, I'm off a machine, this X, Y, and Z. There's so many things that, as much as my chronic pain, I'm not a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
It has all of these things, even the sleep apnea has pushed me to live a healthier lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And that because of that, there were things that were issues in my life that are minimal issues now in other areas
Yep.
of this. And this is why we do chronic pain conversations,
Mm-hmm.
because, chronic is about it being a long term, right?
Right.
How long do you want to use a sleep PAP machine? How much power do you have in your own body
Yep.
to reduce the frequency in which you need to use it?
Yep.
And it's varied for everybody else. Let me just make that very, very clear. It may not be weight, like we did talk about weight and other things. And some people may have an issue with weight because medicine is being added to their body.
Yep.
And the medicine is, it doesn't matter what they're doing. I know those people. I mean, like I've fight with you guys. I've had to deal with the meds being on and fighting to lose weight while meds were contradicting that.
Yep.
But if there is anything that's in your power, from what you put in your mouth to how you move your body, to help you get sleep, please look into it. Please fight for yourself, fight for your voice. When you fight for yourself, you fight for your community and the people that you love. It's an extension that goes just beyond yourself.
100%.
Okay, I blabbled enough.
No, it's okay. Okay, so this week we just wanted to just have a conversation. Khalilah wanted to share her experience, so we didn't bother you guys with the question of the week this week. So we're gonna jump right into our keep it moving moment. Is that okay, Khalilah?
Go for it.
Okay. So scars don't matter, little one. They are the mark of the battles we have won. So scars don't matter, little one. They are the marks of the battles we have won. And this is from Helen Dunmore.
I love that.
Yep. Because I think about it like this. I'd fall off my bike. I get that little cut. But then I look back at it 10 years later down the road when I'm riding my bike again to show me that I didn't let that cut stop me. I got right back up. And I'm still riding my bike like no tomorrow. So just a little.
It's a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Battle scars. They're battle scars, but they're reminders of where you've come from. Trust me, when you say that, I'm like, I got 2 on my hand right now.
With all the surgeries that I've been through, I look at them every day. And when I look at them, all I can say is thank you, Jesus.
And sometimes those battle scars, when you look at them just at the right time, it gives you the motivation to hit the next one. So I like that. Adore your battle scars. It means that you fought for something, you went through something, you conquered and achieved. It means you're victorious and you're an overcomer. Boom.
Definitely. So, Khalilah, let's wrap up the show with some final thoughts. What are
your sleep apnea. We're talking about your health. We're talking about the word I will use is we started off with it's a potentially serious sleep disorder, and this is chronic if you live with this for long term. Please, pretty please, if this is not just for you, or if it's for someone that you're sleeping beside or someone sleeping in your house and you're worried, and they snore really loud, and those little plugs don't work, take them to the doctor. And now that we have virtual doctors, you don't even have to leave your home. But sleep is very, very necessary to your life and to your living. So please go and get it checked out if you have any issues with your sleeping, even if it's not necessarily quote unquote sleep apnea, if you have
Right.
any sleep disturbances. And just realize that I fight for it. While the medicine and the machines are great, if there's a way for you to work it out with yourself in your health and your food intake or your exercise outtake, please try it. Try it. We are here to support you.
I totally agree with everything you said, and another big thing we touched on was pride. Don't let your pride get the best of you. It won't
Mm-mm,
help you. If you
mm-mm,
gotta go to the doctor and have that conversation, we are all
mm-mm,
for it. Look
mhm,
out for, your loved ones if you have a concern about them. Again,
mhm.
nudge them and say, "Hey, I'll go with you." But don't let your pride get the best of you. Deal with it. Like we always say, advocate for yourself. Nobody is better to take care of you but you.
Tell him.
So that is our show for today. I am Sharifa McLaren Thomas from the Thomas Life on YouTube.
And I am Khalilah, the overcomer.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Chronic Pain Conversations. We will be back next Tuesday at 12. Like Khalilah said, we are doing fitness and nutrition. We have two amazing guests, and oh my goodness, I cannot wait for next week's show. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram at CP Conversations. If you are a chronic pain sufferer who would like to share your story, we invite you to be our guest. Visit our bio link on any of our social media platforms. Have a blessed day, and remember, Chronic Pain Conversations is the show that enlightens and advocates about chronic pain.